The Lotus Blossom Cafe was a small, quiet place in London. It sat in Chinatown, where the streets were full of colorful lights and tasty smells. There were lots of noodle shops and little stores selling herbs and teas. But the Lotus Blossom Cafe was special. It glowed softly in the rain, like a warm light in the dark. Inside the cafe, it smelled like hot dumplings and sweet jasmine tea. It felt safe and calm, a nice break from the busy city. The man who owned the cafe was named Kai Shun. He was thin and tall and about 48 years old. His black hair was tied back neatly. On his cheek was a little scar, a tiny line that told people he had been in fights before. Long ago, Kai had been a martial artist. That means he used to fight and train like in kung fu or karate. But he stopped doing that. He didn't want to punch and kick anymore. He liked cooking better. Now, he uses his strong hands to stir noodles and fry rice in hot pans instead. In a cozy booth in the corner, Kai's old friend Jason was sitting. Jason was a movie star. He acted in action movies where he did lots of fighting and stunts. His voice was deep, like a big truck engine, and his eyes looked like they could stop anyone in their tracks. Jason wore a cap that covered his bald head. He liked coming to Kai's cafe when he wasn't working on movies. He didn't want to be seen by too many people. He liked to hide and relax, and the cafe was the perfect place. Jason and Kai were old friends. A long time ago, they trained together in the same dojo, a special place where people learn martial arts. They had helped each other through hard times. That rainy night, the cafe was busy. People were laughing, sipping tea, and eating spring rolls. Soft Cantonese music came from an old radio in the corner. The teacups made soft clinking sounds, like tiny bells. Kai moved from table to table, wearing a messy apron with little soy sauce stains. Jason sat quietly, drinking tea made from roasted leaves called dulong. Their eyes met for a moment. No words were needed. That small glance said, "I'm okay. Are you okay?" They understood each other very well. Suddenly, the door opened with a loud creak. A young man walked in. His name was Riku. Everyone called him Lee. He came alone. His face looked serious and strong. He was wearing a clean white kung fu outfit called a GI. A black belt was tied tightly around his waist. His short black hair framed his face, and his eyes looked like he had something important to do. Lee wasn't just any boy. He was a fast-rising star in London's underground kung fu scene. That means he was very good at fighting, and a lot of people knew his name. He was famous for his fast kicks and powerful moves. But there was something else behind his strong look. He was holding onto a grudge, a very old hurt in his heart. A long time ago, Kai had trained Lee's older brother. Lee's brother was also a good fighter, but he had trouble. Kai had trained him very hard, and Lee believed that made his brother feel too much pressure. His brother couldn't take it and stopped fighting. Lee thought it was all Kai's fault. And tonight, Lee had come to make Kai pay. He didn't just want to win a fight. He wanted to fight for his family. Lee walked to a table and sat down. His bright white clothes looked sharp in the warm brown cafe. He looked around, then shouted across the room. "Oi Shun!" he called loudly. Many heads turned. People stopped chewing. The air became still. Lee said, "Still cooking for silly people who don't know what real food is." His voice sounded angry and hurt. People in the cafe could feel something bad might happen. Kai walked toward Lee. He didn't look scared. He walked calmly, his hands steady and kind. "Riku," he said gently, "it's been a long time. Why don't you try the steamed buns? They're really tasty. I'll give them to you for free." But Lee frowned and curled his lip. "I don't want your free food, old man," he said. "I came here to see if you're as strong as my brother thought you were." Lee stood up slowly. His GI made a soft rustling sound. "Or are you just an old man hiding behind a kitchen apron?" Kai's jaw became tight, but he didn't lose his cool. He looked at Lee with calm eyes. "Your brother was a good fighter," Kai said. "But what happened wasn't my fault. Please, sit down. Eat something. Let's talk." "Talk?" Lee shouted. "You pushed my brother until he broke, and then you left him. I'm not here for tea." He grabbed a plate of dumplings from a table and threw it on the ground. The plate shattered. Pieces of porcelain flew everywhere like tiny stars. Dumplings rolled on the floor. People gasped. Some picked up their phones and started recording. The happy feeling in the cafe disappeared. Everything felt tense. Kai took a small step closer. He spoke in a soft voice. "You're angry, I know. And I understand. But this isn't the way. If you don't leave now, there will be trouble." Lee's eyes burned with anger. "Trouble," he said. "I'll show you trouble." Suddenly, Lee jumped forward. His fist flew toward Kai's face like a rocket. But Kai was fast. He moved his arm and blocked the punch. His old training came back. He still remembered how to fight. But Lee didn't stop. He kept attacking. A quick punch hit Kai's shoulder. He stumbled back and fell into a table. Cups and plates crashed to the ground. Tea spilled. People screamed and ran to the corners of the cafe. Lee came closer. His kicks were fast and sharp. He had trained a long time for this moment. Each move was filled with anger and sadness. A spinning kick hit Kai's ribs. Kai made a small sound and held his side. Blood came from his lip. "You ruined him." Lee shouted. His voice cracked like thunder. "Now I'll ruin you." The cafe was full of shadows and broken dishes. The warm place had turned into a storm. But something happened next. A figure stood up from the corner booth. It was Jason. He took off his cap, and everyone saw his face. The movie star with the strong eyes and deep voice stepped forward. He wasn't acting now. This was real. "That's enough," Jason said. His voice was calm but strong, like a lion speaking. Lee turned and saw him. His eyes widened a little. Everyone knew Jason. But now he wasn't on screen. He was right there, standing between Lee and Kai. "You made your point," Jason said. "You're strong. Fast. But this isn't a movie, kid. People could get hurt." Lee's hands were still in fists. His chest rose and fell fast. His heart was full of heat. But his eyes looked at Jason, and he started to breathe slower. Kai stood up. His lip was bleeding, and his side hurt, but he didn't look mad. "I didn't want your brother to break," Kai said softly. "I was trying to help him. I was hard on him, yes. But I never meant to hurt him." Lee's shoulders slumped just a little. Jason stepped closer to Lee. "You want to fight for your family," he said. "That's brave. But your brother wouldn't want this. This isn't an honor." Lee looked at the mess in the cafe. The dumplings on the floor. The scared faces. His hands opened. The fight was leaving him. Kai walked up slowly. "Come to the back," he said gently. "We'll talk. No fists. Just words." Lee didn't answer right away. But then he nodded. The cafe stayed quiet as the three of them, Kai, Jason, and Lee, walked to the back room. The radio kept playing soft music. Someone helped clean up the broken plates. The Lotus Blossom Cafe would need a little fixing, but it would be okay. Because sometimes, even in the middle of a storm, there is calm. And sometimes, when people are angry, what they really need is someone to listen. Jason stood up. The light from the ceiling shined on his bald head like a shiny ball. He looked very serious, like a storm coming. Everyone in the cafe got really quiet when they saw him. Jason took off his hat and threw it away. "Mate," Jason said in a deep, slow voice, "you are picking the wrong fight." Lee was standing across the room, ready to fight. But when he saw Jason, he stopped moving. His eyes went wide. "Jason," he said. His tough voice now sounded a little scared. "This is not your business." Jason walked forward slowly. He was thin but strong, like a tiger. His eyes were sharp. "Kai is my brother," Jason said. "So yes, this is my business now." Jason took off his jacket. Underneath, his muscles looked big and powerful. Not like in movies, but real, from lots of training and hard work. Everyone in the cafe stood up and moved back. They made a big circle around the three men. They were whispering, but nobody wanted to speak too loud. They knew something big was about to happen. Kai, who had been hurt, looked up at Jason. He nodded just a little. They used to train together in a dojo, so they trusted each other without words. That one look said everything. Lee looked at Kai, then Jason. His face was red. He was angry, but also confused. Should he fight? Should he stop? You think I'm scared of you? Lee said loudly. I'm not here for you. Kai stood up straighter. He was hurt, but still strong. His voice was calm like quiet water. You're here for revenge, Kai said. Your brother made his choices. I tried to help him. Let it go, Lee. Stop before you lose more than just a fight. Lee's face twisted. He looked sad and mad at the same time. No, he shouted. Then he ran forward and started to fight. His feet kicked high-low and spun in the air. His moves were fast and strong. He looked like a blur. But Jason was ready. He moved like a shadow. He dodged every kick. He was like a ghost. Lee tried to punch, but Jason jabbed him in the chest. Lee stumbled backward. Lee tried to hit again, but Jason slid to the side. Kai jumped in to help. He blocked Lee's kicks with strong arms. Lee hit fast, but Kai stopped every strike. Now Jason and Kai were fighting together. Jason hit like thunder. Kai was protected like a wall. Lee fought with everything he had. Sweat dripped down his face. His white fighting clothes, called a GI, were soaked. But Lee couldn't win. He was too angry. And Jason and Kai were too good together. Jason kicked Lee's legs from under him. Lee fell hard to the floor. His teacup spilled, and tea splashed all over his GI. Kai got down and held Lee's shoulders so he couldn't get up. Enough, Lee, Kai said. His voice was strong, but not mean. You're good. But this anger is eating you up inside. Your brother wouldn't want this. Lee breathed hard. He was tired. His chest moved up and down fast. His eyes looked wet. You don't get it, Lee said quietly. He looked up to you. Kai looked at him softly. And I wanted him to do well, he said. But he gave himself too much pressure. He couldn't carry that weight. Don't make the same mistake. Jason stood above them, still tall, still strong. Get up, mate, he said. Come back when you've got something worth fighting for. Lee stood up slowly. His GI was wrinkled and wet. His face looked tired and a little sad. He looked at Kai. He looked at Jason. Then, without saying a word, Lee walked outside. Rain was falling. The lights from the cafe glowed on the street. Lee's body looked small in the dark. Then he disappeared into the night. Inside the cafe, everyone was quiet. You could hear the sound of tea dripping. You could hear the soft music from the radio. Some people clapped. Others whispered to each other. Wow, one person said. That was something. Kai and Jason looked at each other. They didn't say anything, but their eyes said a lot. They had been through many fights before, more than just this one. They were brothers. They always had each other's back. You didn't have to help, Kai said. He wiped a bit of blood from his lip. Jason laughed and picked up a broom. And miss a fight like that, he said. No way, mate. The brothers started cleaning the mess. Chairs had fallen. Cups were broken. The floor was wet. But the cafe felt alive again. People went back to their tables. They picked up their chopsticks. They smiled and talked. The smell of hot dumplings filled the air. Outside, the rain kept falling. It washed away the anger and the yelling. But inside, the cafe stood strong. There were pictures of lotus flowers on the wall. The flower meant peace, even after storms. This wasn't just a fight. It was more than that. Kai had stood up for what was right. He protected his peace. Jason had stood by his brother, like he always did. And Lee? He had to face the truth. Wanting revenge only brings pain. It doesn't fix anything. The cafe lights glowed warm and bright. They lit up the dark street like a lighthouse. The cafe was safe. It was a place where people came to eat, to laugh, and to find calm. Tomorrow, it will open again. The tables would be clean. The buns would be hot. The tea would be sweet. But the story of that night would stay. Everyone who was there would remember it. They would remember Jason and Kai. They would remember the big fight, the quiet at the end, and the lesson inside it. Sometimes, the biggest fight is the one inside your heart. And sometimes, the strongest thing you can do is to let go. But let's tell a little more about what happened after. Jason finished sweeping. He helped a little girl pick up her toy dumpling. She giggled. "You're strong," she said. Jason smiled. "Only when I need to be," he said. Kai brought out more tea for the guests. "Free dumplings for everyone tonight," he shouted. Everyone cheered. The grandma in the corner clapped her hands. "That's how brothers should be," she said. "Stick together." Outside, the rain slowed down. It turned into tiny drops, then it stopped. The puddles on the ground shimmered with the cafe lights. A boy with glasses whispered to his dad, "That was like a superhero movie." His dad nodded. "Better," he said, "because it was real." Back inside, Jason sat with Kai. They ate together quietly. "I miss him too," Jason said. Kai nodded. "He was a good kid. Just lost." "But you tried," Jason said. "We both did." The radio played a soft song. It made everyone feel cozy and calm. The steam from the dumplings rose up like clouds. The whole place smelled like home. Little by little, the night went back to normal. But nothing would ever be exactly the same. Lee had left with pain, but maybe, just maybe, he would come back one day. Not to fight, but to say sorry. To find peace. Kai would still be there. So would Jason. So would the cafe. Because some places, and some people, don't give up. They keep standing, even after the rain. They stay strong, like a lotus flower in a muddy pond. And in that little dumpling cafe, under the soft lights, with dumplings steaming and people laughing again, that night became a story. A story of brothers. Of pain. Of healing. Of peace. And the best plate of dumplings anyone ever had. Did you enjoy the story? I'd love to hear what you think. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you had fun, make sure to subscribe and tap the bell so you never miss the next adventure. Thanks for being here, and as always, stay curious, stay bold, and keep exploring.